Welcome to Bliss for GR. Bliss for GR is a public access show hosted by myself, Commissioner Rosalind Bliss. The goal of Bliss for GR is to provide information and education about city issues. This show is purely educational. There will be no decisions made here, and the ideas discussed will have no bearing on my fellow commissioners. If you have comments or questions or concerns that you would like to share with me, you're welcome to contact me at rosalind@blissforgr.org. Tonight we will be talking with some individuals from Local First and discussing the importance of, as they put it, shopping outside the box and supporting local businesses. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Bliss for GR. I am delighted tonight to be talking about a very important topic for both me and our neighborhoods and our businesses in our city. And tonight we'll be talking about the importance of shopping local and supporting our local businesses. And with me, I'm delighted to have Miss Elissa Sangalli. Yes. So make sure I say your last name correct. And Elissa is the Executive Director of Local First, and she's going to tell us about Local First, and we're going to be talking about the importance of shopping local and how you become a member if you're interested in being a member. And we'll talk towards the end more about business districts in our city and wrap up with how to get involved if you want to get involved. So, Elissa, thank you for being here. If you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Local First, and then we can move on after that.
All right. Well, I am relatively new. I've just been with Local First for about 3 months now. I started in the beginning of January, and before that I worked for Aquinas College in their admissions department, which I loved and very much enjoyed, but it was not what I studied in school. I studied community leadership and political science at Aquinas and did some internships in economic development and other things with the city and various organizations. And when I heard that the position with Local First had opened up, I was very excited because I've always been a big supporter of local businesses, and it sounded right up my alley. So I applied and things went from there, and I'm loving it.
Great. Well, I've heard wonderful things about your leadership in that position, and glad you're there and glad you're able to be on the show tonight. Why don't we talk a little bit about Local First for people viewing the show tonight who've never heard of Local First. If you would just tell us what you do and who you are, maybe a little bit about the vision and goals of Local First.
Okay. Well, Local First is a membership organization. It's a network of locally owned businesses here in West Michigan, and we have about 240 members right now, and we're about 3 years old. Memberships doubled from the first year to the second, from the second to the third, and then we increased about 80% last year as well. So we're growing pretty rapidly, and we have members all throughout the city. Most of our members are right now in Easttown and East Hills and in the downtown area. We have a few out in Ada, some down in Kalamazoo and Holland, and all over. I just received an application for a member from Gowan, so we're moving up to the northern part of West Michigan as well. The organization, Local First, is one of 50 similar organizations in the United States, and we're one of the more advanced ones. It's a little bit different. It's based on the triple bottom line, so looking out for people, the environment, and the economy. And so all of our members are interested in those things.
Okay. And I know at City Hall we've talked a lot about the triple bottom line. That's been a priority of the mayor for a long time, and we talk a lot about sustainability and being economically vibrant but socially socially conscious as well as environmentally friendly, and why those three go together. So it's really nice to see that integrated into Local First. So Local First is for the region. Is it regional? Is it statewide? Or
right now it's regional. It's all of West Michigan. The idea eventually would be to have It's easiest to understand, I think, if you think of it in concentric circles.
Okay.
You should shop local first in your neighborhood. If you can go get your hair cut in your neighborhood, go do that. If you can buy your groceries in your neighborhood, go do that. But if you can't, then you start to move out into your city, into your region, into the state. So for certain things, like your haircut, maybe you can just go a couple blocks over, but for things like steel that aren't produced in Michigan, the idea is to purchase those as close to home as possible.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
It does. It
Okay.
does. So the philosophy behind Local First is to spend your money locally, support local business. I know from being familiar with local businesses that the majority of local businesses are owned by people that live in our own neighborhood and in our own city, so that when we shop local and do things locally, we're supporting our neighbors and helping those smaller businesses stay open and vibrant. But what are the other benefits of shopping local? I know you probably have a whole list of them, why this is important.
Well, just based off of what you said, I want to mention real quick, there was a study done in a Chicago neighborhood, Andersonville, and they found for every $100 you spend at an independent, locally owned business that's privately held, so all the monetary decisions are made within that business, $68 stays in the community and recirculates versus a non-local business where only $43 stays and the rest leaves. Part of that is because local business owners tend to hire their legal services locally. They do their marketing with local companies. So the money really moves throughout the area. They buy their food at the local grocery store. They buy their bread at the local bakery. But in terms of that ripple effect, if you support your local businesses, it helps to keep more money in the region, which keeps more jobs in the region. In addition, if you're shopping more locally, you're using less gas and less transportation. If you're purchasing Michigan apples instead of Washington apples, that's better for the environment because you don't have to haul them 2,000 miles across the U.S.
Yeah.
And they taste better too. So there's a whole ripple effect.
And as you were talking, I was thinking, now probably more than ever, it's even more important to shop local with the economy as it is. Small business owners are struggling just as much as families are struggling in today's economy, and it's important for the neighborhood businesses to be able to stay open, not just for their own well-being, but for the neighborhood, because as store shops close up, the impact that has on neighborhoods is tremendous.
Well, and keeping all those places in business also keeps the property values up, and it makes neighborhoods a place you want to be. I lived over in East Town for a while, and now I live in Heritage Hill, and I love that I can just walk to Wealthy Street Bakery or Art of the Table or some of those places, and that's one of the things I love about the neighborhood. If those places weren't there, I wouldn't like it quite as much, and I don't think I'd socialize with my neighbors quite as much because we're all out going to those different areas. So it really, I think, adds to the feel of the city. It makes those individual neighborhoods and cities are what's fun to visit. I love to travel, and actually in my last job for Aquinas, I traveled a lot between Detroit and Chicago, and everywhere I went, there were the huge box stores that we have here, and it wasn't fun to go visit those places. It was fun to go find the little neighborhoods and the little mom and pop restaurants and stores that had been there, because they have a different feel, and they make West Michigan what West Michigan is, or New Orleans what New Orleans is, or all of those different places. They add character.
Yeah, I live in East Hills, and I go to East Town all the time. I mean, that's I go to
a fun
Marie's.
area.
Yeah, and you're right. It does create a sense of community, and it helps you get to know your neighbors. Speaking of small businesses, tell me a little bit about why you think it is that more people don't shop locally. So how do we raise the consciousness? How do we get people thinking about shopping local more often? Like you said, instead of driving out to 28th Street to a big box or to the mall to get your haircut, how do we get people to think about using their local barber or their local salon? What are your, I'm sure you have lots of conversations about this with your colleagues.
I think part of it is first heightening people's consciousness, so they start to think, well, maybe I should think about using the people that are right next door versus the people that are further away, because I think we've all gotten used to shopping at some of the larger stores where people don't know you. And one of the nice things about the smaller stores is that there's great customer service. They recognize you if you walk in. I think one of the steps to getting people to shop at some of the independent places over and over and over is getting them there in the first place.
Yeah.
And how to do that exactly, I'm not sure. I'm working on trying to figure that out. Some places, I think, just explode right off the bat with personality, like Marie Catrives, I think. Every time I'm there, there's tons of different people flowing in and out. It's always busy.
Yeah. And Marie has kind of made that, Marie and Fuad, you go in and they know you and they come up and talk to you, and they have really created this warmth.
And even if they don't know you, they go around and talk to everyone. They're so friendly, and they're always right out there.
Yeah.
And I found that at a lot of the businesses that I visited who aren't even members of Local First yet, but hopefully will be. There's just such personality and good people all over. I think another step to getting people to shop locally is filling some of those storefronts. And it's kind of a cycle. It's hard to fill the storefronts if people aren't there, but even when I think about the downtown mall area, now that the bookstore is gone, that's a pretty tough blow. Bookstores are destinations. Bookstores are places you go meet your friends and have a cup of coffee and hang out and walk around on a rainy day. And I think we really need a group of business owners or investors who are willing to take a leap and move into those areas together. Because there is parking down there. There are other things, and there are a lot of fun places downtown. Four Friends is always busy when I'm in there too, but.
Speaking of small business owners, and I think you're right, when we see shops close up, it can be incredibly detrimental. I know there's a couple empty storefronts now in East Town, and I was at the East Town Business or Neighborhood Association meeting, and they were talking about that and the impact it has on the residents and on the neighborhood as a whole when those stores close down and they sit vacant. And what is there? What's available in our community that can help small businesses? So let's say somebody's watching tonight and they are thinking about opening a small business. What would you recommend? Where can they go for support or assistance? What assistance is out there? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. Right off the bat, I'd send them to the Small Business and Technology Development Center over at Grand Valley, because they will help the business owners put together a business plan so they can think through some of the steps, where money's going to come from, how they're going to last for the first year or so until they start making a profit. And they'll be able to help anyone interested in starting a business get off on a better step right away. In addition, I share an office with Neighborhood Ventures, and they do absolutely wonderful work in the community. And right now I know they have a new facade program for businesses that just need a new outside appearance to suck people in, because that makes a difference too. And they have all sorts of support systems as well. And then there are things as businesses continue to grow and develop, there are programs in place to help them too. Neighborhood Ventures and the SBTDC and Local First.
And tell us what SBDT.
Oh, sorry.
For those who don't know, I know we get used to acronyms.
The Small Business and Technology Development Center. The two programs that I mentioned in Local First, we all partner and promote a program called Venture Forward, and it started last Friday, and it runs every Friday for 8 weeks in the spring, and it's for businesses that have been around for a year or two and need to establish a growth plan, or for businesses that maybe a son or a daughter is getting ready to take over the family business and they need to create a transition plan. They can come to Venture Forward and get help working on that.
Great. And just to elaborate a little bit, the facade improvement that you mentioned, if you're not familiar with that program, what that is it's a grant that's available that will help to improve the outside of your building. So it helps with awnings and windows and window dressings and signs. And it's a grant run through Neighborhood Ventures, and it's a match grant, is that correct?
I believe,
or up to
I believe so,
$5,000 or something.
Yes.
So if you're interested in that, then you could contact you, Elissa, and you could point people in the right direction.
Of course.
Neighborhood Ventures.
Of course.
Can you speak also to the Neighborhood Business Alliance in town, and are you a member of that group as well?
We are. To be honest, I'm still learning about some of those things.
Okay.
I know there are neighborhood business associations all over, and we're members of the Wealthy Street Business Association because that's where we're located. We actually have quite a few of the business associations that are members of Local First.
The vast majority of business districts then have a neighborhood business association where they meet regularly and try to do some work together. And I know within the city, a number of those business districts are starting to work more collaboratively together, and so that's why we're starting to see areas such as Uptown and Southtown where business districts are coming together and trying to collectively market their business district. How do you see that going? Can you speak a little bit to the progress in business associations working more collectively together?
Well, I can say I think working more collectively is a huge step in the right direction because although neighborhoods are slightly different entities, consumers see them all as the sum of the city of Grand Rapids. So as a person just coming to shop in Grand Rapids, I don't see the difference between East Hills and East Town and the Cheshire District and Midtown and downtown and all over. Yeah. You just drive down the streets in Grand Rapids and it's all one big place. And so for certain projects, I believe it was East Town that has the shop around the block.
Yes.
And yeah. And I know they're talking about doing different things this holiday season to all work together to maybe bring people to different places in the city that they haven't been. And I think that is an absolutely wonderful idea.
Yeah. If someone is not familiar with their neighborhood business association, or if they fall within a neighborhood business association, where can they go to find that out?
Well, they could contact myself or Neighborhood Ventures.
Okay.
If they talk to one of the business owners next door, hopefully that person's involved and can point them in the right direction. And then I believe you can find out online as well.
Yeah. I've attended a lot of neighborhood business association meetings, and I think a struggle at times for small businesses, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or add to this, a struggle for them is that often it's the owners who are in the shop working every single day. So you may have a husband and wife, and they're there almost every day working within their own business, and to get out to go to a training or to go to a meeting or to find out about facade improvement or other resources that are out there, it's sometimes incredibly difficult to do that. So I appreciate that Local First is trying to reach out and get businesses to become members and then to provide services. Yes. So can you tell me a little bit about how to become a member of Local First, and then what kind of support do you provide local businesses? So what is the value of being a member of Local First?
Okay. Well, to become a member, you contact myself. I'm the only employee we have right now, so I'm the one to talk to, or any other members, and they'll point you in my direction.
Okay.
You can also check us out on our website, and our membership application should be up in the next month or so.
And what is your website, Elissa?
It's www.localfirst.com, all spelled out.
Okay.
And it's a great resource, and we're adding new things to it all the time. So.
Okay.
But yes, contact me. And then benefit in terms of member benefits, you're listed in both our member directory, which is what this is. Okay. This is our 2006 member directory, and we have about 130 members in here. Our 2007 will have more like 240, 250. So we've grown significantly.
And what is the membership? Is it different based on the business, or is it a flat membership?
It's different based on the business, anywhere from $25 to $500 based on the number of employees a business has.
Okay.
So, and that's something I can help people figure out. But we have the print member directory, and that can be found in any of our member businesses, mainly the restaurants and the stores, because that's where most people will pick them up.
Sure.
And so those are there. And you can identify our member businesses because they have a logo. It's a diamond shape Local First logo sticker on their door. So go in there, they'll hook you up with a directory.
Okay.
Or you can contact me through the website and I'll bring one. But we also have our member directory listed online so that you can go and say, okay, I'd like to go out for dinner some night or tonight at a local restaurant, but I'm not sure what's out there. And you can go and find the dining option, and it will show you exactly what all the restaurants that our members are.
Okay.
You can do that with stores and other things as well. Business services is a huge category. So those are member benefits. In addition, our members are invited to monthly networking events, and those are the third Tuesday of every month. Prospective members are welcome to come to those as well.
And where are those located?
They're hosted by different member businesses.
Oh.
So this month's will be at Bar Devani, and the photography room. They're co-hosting it. Last month's was at Noto's. And the month before was at Ferris Coffee and Nuts. So different places. We usually take a tour of the business. So at Ferris, that was very fun. We got to see where they roast all the coffee and the nuts and everything. And then we'll have a speaker on a different topic relating to sustainability and something that hopefully will be relevant to all the members there.
Sure.
So, and then there's plenty of time to just network with other business leaders. And one of the nice things about our events is because we do have mainly small to medium-sized businesses, the business owners are the ones that actually show up.
Sure.
And it's a pretty good group, different group each time.
Nice.
So,
well, we have about 4 minutes left, so what I'd like to do is spend the last few minutes we have together talking about events, because I know every neighborhood has
all kinds
of events going on, all the time throughout the year. But I know one that the business districts have been doing for a number of years is the holiday hop, which you alluded to. But at Christmas time, there's all the stores are open late, and each store has different snacks that you can eat, and there's carolers in the streets, and it's just, I've been going to it for years, and I've always loved the holiday hop. It's a great way to get to know the different local businesses and to buy just unique gifts, and so I've always appreciated that. But I know that, as I said, throughout the year there are events in the different neighborhoods, and I encourage you to find out what events are taking place in your neighborhood and in your neighborhood business districts, and to get to know your local shop owners and support them. But what other events? I know you had said that there were some events coming up. Do you want to share some of those?
Well, most certainly throughout the summer there are all sorts of events that are being posted in Easttown, East Hills, and all of the other neighborhoods around the city. And those are all just coming out right now. We have an author. We're bringing Lori Hamill, who's the co-chair of the national network that we're part of, in to speak on April 9th at Schuler's at 7 p.m.
Right.
He wrote a book entitled Growing Local Value.
Okay.
And it's about really developing your local businesses and your neighborhoods and everything that's going on.
And that's
April 9th at 7 p.m. at Schuler's on Alpine. And then we're very excited. We have a street party every year down in front of Bistro Bella Vita.
That's right.
And that will be June 9th. And it should be a great time. It's a celebration of local food, local beer, and local music. And we've got some great bands lined up. Still finalizing those, so I don't want to give names yet.
Okay.
And I believe Founders will be providing the beer and all kinds of things. So it should be a really good time. And there's more information on that on our website as well.
Nice.
So
nice. Sounds like I haven't been to that party, the street party yet.
it's a good time.
I'll have to make sure I put that, and that is in June.
Yes, June 9th.
Okay.
From 3 to 12, hopefully.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with us tonight about Local First, or what you want people to know, anything we missed or you didn't have an opportunity to share with us?
Well, if anyone has more questions, I want them to feel free to contact me. I'd be more than happy to sit down with any business owners or individuals and talk to them more about the Local First concept. And I would just ask that everyone start supporting your local businesses if you're not already, and if you are, please keep supporting them.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. I agree. I am very deliberate at shopping local, and so
it takes an effort. It's an extra effort.
It does. But I do my grocery shopping on Fulton there.
Okay.
At now the Spartan store.
Yep.
And I go to Marie's for my coffee,
Okay.
Marie Katrib's, or the Wealthy Street Bakery, as you said, which is another great place. Or when I'm downtown, I choose Four Friends instead of Starbucks. And so, just that conscious effort of, okay, if I have a choice of going to a chain versus a restaurant or a shop that is owned locally, then I always try to choose the locally owned restaurant. And in fact, once a month I do a coffee with Bliss, and I it's just a time that I'm available in the community to meet with community members. And each month I choose a different local restaurant in the second ward, the ward that I represent. So each month, and you can find this on my website. I list the location and the time and the date and everything on my website. But I always choose a locally owned restaurant.
And there are all sorts of good ones out there.
Are.
Grand Rapids really likes its local restaurants.
Yes, we do.
We have quite a few downtown.
We
and
have
then all around in the neighborhoods, actually.
We do. I know the one that I had last month was I believe at Graydon's, which is another great new restaurant
up on Plainfield.
Up on Plainfield. So I encourage you to find out what is available, and make a conscious effort to support your local businesses, particularly now with the economy and with small business owners really struggling, as many of not just store owners or business owners are struggling, but people are struggling. But just to make a conscious effort to support our local businesses.
And to keep them around.
Yes. Absolutely. So I want to say thank you for joining us today.
Well, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's
for
nice having you.
the opportunity to talk about Local First.
Yes. So nice having you with us.
Yes. Good to be here.
Yeah. Thank you, and have a good night.